Oliver North scheduled to be with us today. Some of you may not hear that till Monday.
Oh, no, don't let Hannity find out.
Yeah, I know. And, well, all Hannity's got to do is be like Ollie and book a time on the show.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get Hannity. I don't want his feelings to be hurt.
Right. You know, part of the job here, I feel like, Bubba, is now middle-aged men, which is an awful big statement. I guess
Speak for yourself.
I just think I guess I think I'm going to live to be 92. But anyway,
no, seriously, I feel like
don't break it down like that.
Let's not do that, Rick. Come on, man.
Rick, once I've got up, had a hot shower, took some pain medicine, I feel like I'm in my 20s.
That's right. I took some pain medicine. It's funny. I'm sure at 50 we'll keep calling ourselves middle-aged. I guess with that we'll be 100. But anyway,
I can apply for my AAERP card or whatever that thing is coming up here for.
So right now,
no, wait a minute, that's effective radiating power. That's another topic.
So I guess right now, if the Lord doesn't return, I'm just boxing myself in at 92 like I've got that made.
Yeah.
But
that's good stuff.
One of the things I think we need to do for these young men that come on the program during their intern programs and all that is kind of teach them the ways of the world, and kind of prepare them for what it's going to be like to be a man. And so today we couldn't help but notice intern little Al Coop walks in wearing a gigantic button
with a beautiful young lady's picture on it.
With his girlfriend's picture on it. He's walking around at work among other men wearing a button.
And she's got a crown on.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this, and I think you'll agree with this. I went through a lot of emotions when I heard he had it on. And one of them was I almost went into that dad mode where I wanted to kind of defend him and go, hey, man, don't worry about it.
Right.
We understand. But then I realized that's not going to prepare him for when he's going to be working with other men and his wife wants him to do something goofy.
Well, here's the good news is Greg can get you ready for what we call the worst-case scenario.
Right, absolutely. So
other than physically being taken behind the building and beaten with a stick, Greg can rough you up about as good as anybody.
Right. One day on the one day on the job site, in the office, wherever he ends up working, you've got to understand, you come to work with something like that on, you're going to get pummeled.
That's right.
I mean, Greg did this morning.
Good.
Well, let's start out. What did Greg say to you this morning, little Al Coop?
He just started laughing when I walked in.
No.
Well, no, stop.
Al walked in,
Stop.
diffusing it for. Now I've been here too. He didn't wait on me to react. He came around the corner going, I know. He went ahead and brought it out, which helped.
That was smart.
Exactly right. You're right, Greg.
Well, let's find out why do you have a button? Who is that, and what's going on?
Well, I can't call her my girlfriend during this week because they're not supposed to have boyfriend and girlfriends at the pageant.
Well, let's hope they don't have girlfriends.
Time out. What?
They're supposed to be completely focused.
How can you control that?
But you're still, even if you're not in contact with her to distract her, you still would be her boyfriend, right?
Right, but after the pageant, we go talk to her, and I'm her cousin.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to.
You're on there, right?
So
what's up with these pageants?
Oh, so what you're saying is
have
they
a
won't allow
boyfriend?
boyfriends to come backstage, but they will allow family.
Are you her cousin?
Right.
It is Alabama.
Okay. That does bring a question. It is Alabama. Are you her cousin?
No, I'm not.
Rick, guys, everybody don't be making fun of that.
Rick, you're getting the thirds and fourths.
By the way, look, I escorted Miss Teen, Florida, all the way to the end. Listen. Proud of it. Listen,
Rick, I would have been in that club. I just couldn't catch mine.
Right. Listen, guys, I want to stop. I don't want us to move past this.
Okay.
Your girlfriend, not girlfriend, cousin, whatever she is, is in the beauty pageant to be Miss Alabama. Is that right?
I'm for real confused.
Now, at the end result, are we headed to Miss Alabama?
This is the Miss Alabama competition.
It's going on this week.
It's going on this week.
And part of being in the pageant, if you have a boyfriend, you're not supposed to have a boyfriend. What?
I've never dealt with pageants before.
You have to.
That many girls, and none of them supposed to have a boyfriend.
Well, many of them have boyfriends, but during the week they don't want it portrayed that they have a boyfriend, so they can be completely focused on
just
Miss
quit
Alabama.
talking. Just quit talking.
That's
Just quit talking.
That's the goofiest thing I've ever heard.
All right, never mind. You talk about overthinking something.
Right. I mean, really.
I tell you what we're going to do. We're just for this week. We're going to pretend we don't have boyfriends.
But
we don't even like men.
But in a normal situation, this young lady would
they
be.
Think they are softball players.
In a normal situation,
That was you. That was not me.
Oh, this is going downhill quick. In a normal situation, you would be her boyfriend.
Yes, sir.
And you have been for some time.
Yes, sir.
So you are promoting and supporting her with this giant button that you have on this week because, quite frankly, your girlfriend could be, at the end of the week, Miss Alabama. Or insert your local state.
I get all that. I do. But you're being way too – I'll be honest with you. If he hadn't diffused it when he walked in, I'd have eat him up.
You're walking around with a button of your girlfriend on it around men.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
Bubba's
what,
cutting you too much slack.
Listen, I see. Listen, we act like we would not do the same thing for our wives.
I'd have lost the button.
Yeah, I would.
I have a feeling Greg puts on this big front, but when he goes home,
I wouldn't say no. I'm not wearing it. No, but
you know
somehow
what?
in the car it would have got lost.
When he gets to the driveway to come home, he put that button back
Oh,
on.
definitely,
no question,
definitely.
And
he's
when
just questioning
asked,
why he's wearing it now.
Yeah, you're right about that, Bo. There's no
but-
sense
well,
in
I'll
starting
tell
a
you
fight
why,
that you ain't got to start.
because we're on the air, and his family and her family can see us.
That's what it is.
Okay.
That's what it is.
And he promised he'd wear it.
wasn't
and
for
he
that.
dang well better have it on.
Greg, I'm gonna go this far, and I think we all know the answer to this, and you don't have to answer this.
He could be dealing with a future mother-in-law.
Right,
here.
you don't have to answer this.
Bubba, you're way too kind.
Listen, he went into the mode that all of us would have gone into. As a matter of fact, Greg saw me get busted on this one time back during the dating days. He's thinking, all right, how can I make her think I'm wearing it, but the guys not see it?
Yeah.
And then he realized what you just said. He said, wait a minute, Ustream. That's what he thought of.
Right.
And the minute he thought of Ustream and Rick and Bubba, the TV show, he said, I cannot chance taking it off and it end up on the TV show or on Ustream.
Right.
So I'm going to have to go in, find Greg immediately, tell him
Diffuse this.
Tell him I
Exactly
see that
what
I
it
have
is.
a big, not a little button,
Yeah.
a giant button of my girlfriend on my shirt to show my support for the beauty pageant. There's no way I can't be pummeled by the guys, so I'm just going to try to make it as tolerable as possible, and I think that's the way to go. But I want to warn you about something, because even though I understand it, it's my job to put you in the atmosphere that you will be in the rest of your life, which is getting pummeled over stuff like this, and how you juggle it. We all have these versions of it with our wives and with our, in
Matching shirts.
And look, you've outkicked your coverage. I mean, you're in a tough situation here. You ain't got a lot to work with. You know what I mean? He's pretty much got to go with the flow.
Well, you know what? To date a candidate for Miss Alabama, and your claim to fame is you're obsessed with mascots.
Yeah,
that's you can't really
doing pretty
chance
well,
it.
right?
You can't really chance.
I
messing that up.
say you take the pummeling from Greg and just work through it.
Well, you got to.
But
But he's
saying-
going to have to do that all of his life.
showing
because this
up-
is not the end of this kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean, let me tell you what's next. I'm his, I'm hers shirt.
Oh, they've already got.
Well, let me
Rick,
tell you- let
Rick,
me
I
tell you.
promise you, in his drawer somewhere, there's an airbrush shirt from Destin,
No,
Florida.
no, there's not.
That says "I'm hers."
Yeah, you're right.
Somewhere it's
But-
white. I can see it now. It's white. Probably got purple sleeves.
Right.
And it's got a beachy scene on it, and it's just airbrushed, and it's probably a little bird flying through.
Yeah. Now don't forget the matching car tag that goes with it.
Right,
Where you
right.
get the airbrush car tag
Right,
that has your
right.
girlfriend's name on it.
Yeah,
They'll buy you one of those, and you won't know what to do with it.
So the fact that you're taking time out of your week to show up to this pageant every night's not enough. You got to wear a button.
Yeah. One
So
time
you're not supporting unless you got the John Brown button.
And let me tell you, we're matching her outfits each night. So we are planning
Just
what
quit
to
talking.
wear.
Just quit talking.
Okay.
Oh, wait a
what
minute,
she's
wait a minute.
wearing
Now
during
you-
the pageant.
Now wait a minute. You're supposed to be her cousin. Don't be her gay cousin. Okay.
none of us can get it out.
Yeah, you're playing the role too good.
You're going too far with this. She wants you to be her supportive man, not
I'm
her,
being
not
supportive.
her friend. Not her friend.
Okay, cousin.
Yeah, not
Loves pageants.
right. Who loves pageants? You need to act a little more masculine about this, frankly.
Yeah.
You got to be a little more. You got to ask a little more miserable.
Well,
but you,
I
you're
mean,
going
I
too far
hate
with
it. This is awful.
You're going too far.
Did
with
you hear
it.
what he just said? They wear matching clothes as a team to match.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Her mother set out an agenda
Oh my
of what
gosh.
we should wear each night.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something too. When
And speaking as this could possibly be my future
Line.
wife,
yeah,
I have
Crystal ball future.
You might want. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. This is gonna be worth it.
Tell me something. This ain't the last email you'll get.
I got news for you. I tell my parents to get used to not seeing you at Thanksgiving.
And I tell you, Christmas Day's out too.
That's a good one.
You better have it the week early at your place.
Yeah, your parents can be the ones that celebrate holidays when it ain't really the holidays.
Yeah.
All of us thinking about it.
Boy, he wishes that he had to go.
but you know, he's
yeah, I'm gonna hear.
Thinking
I'm
right
gonna hear
now I
about
should have
this
left the
tonight.
button in the car.
I don't know which
well,
is worse
hold-
now.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. See,
He thinks he's picking out his tugs for the wedding.
see, I've got a different mindset right now because he's making a great investment.
Right.
Okay. When we come back, I think we need to talk to him about how to capitalize on this investment that he's made of wearing this bag. He's making quite a deposit in the bank.
Yes,
He
he
better
is.
get something in
And how to
return.
withdraw that money a little
No,
bit.
he's a private in this army. He ain't got no say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no.
He's a
I-
buck
you're wearing-
private.
let me tell you how you need to
He
take
can't even
advantage
get the first
of,
lieutenant.
wearing that little pin, and how to tell her all about what you went through.
We'll be right back.
Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Little Al Coop. His claim to fame, he is obsessed with wanting to be a mascot, and mainly one mascot, the University of Alabama's Big Al. He is dating a young lady who's vying to be Miss Alabama. He has...
He wants to be Tiny Master. You remember they used to have them pageants for little boys?
Yes, by the way, those the only thing odder than little girl pageants is little boy pageants.
Oh, yeah.
But the you talk about hanging some trauma on a
Talking
little
about
boy.
Tiny Master?
Oh my gosh! You talk about something that'll haunt them the rest of their lives. You be out there at the job site and have that on your resume.
Look at Greg. He was an underwear model. Look at all the grief it gives him.
I
Well, you
know.
remember
that
the-
was just because I had to pay my way through college.
You remember the you remember the time that I got on the air running my big fat mouth about a friend of mine that was a cheerleader, a male cheerleader. Mm-hmm. Didn't know he's in a new line of work, prison guard. And he said, "Hey, buddy, thank you." He said, "How you think my life's been here?" He said, "With coworkers and the inmates who listen." He goes, "You think I've been hollered 2 bits a few times a day?"
What was his name, Rick? I forgot.
I'd rather not say again because it really was bad. He even said, "Look,
saw him at the last
He said, I
event.
know you got a show to do, but for the love of all that's good, find out what your friends are doing now before you do all that." You know, and which I get that same email from my friends who are now pastors. But anyway,
Yeah, I bet.
Little Al Coop has come to work wearing a giant button with his girlfriend's picture on it around other men at the workplace. And
If I had a picture of Betty, I'd put it on right now too to support you.
Well,
later.
I understand
Bubba,
that.
I know you're.
I understand that, but
I
you're happily
appreciate
married
that.
and he's dating. And you know, look, I just want to make sure that you know how to capitalize on what you're going
you
through
better,
right now.
You better.
And you need to make sure that you go back to your girlfriend and talk about what you've been through. Hey, you know, they were making fun of me, but I was going to do anything for you. You know, I tell you,
use it to your advantage.
they would not let me live this down. But you know what I did? I wore that for you.
No,
because
they couldn't have ripped it off my shirt. Let them make fun of me.
Mm-hmm. Let them make fun of me, but you know what? I'd wear this every day if you wanted me to. Mm-hmm.
Don't say that because then she may want him.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
she
not gonna
probably
say
wouldn't.
that.
Her mom might, but
He's
not her.
really got a juggling act here on how to honor his girlfriend, but at the same time, at some point, he's going to have to do something about my future mother-in-law's laid out my clothes to go to the pageant. I mean,
I'll
She's
be honest
approving
with
my
you,
clothes before
that-
I get there.
that-
Did you go as a
that's,
mascot, maybe?
That's a little scary, but
She didn't say I had to wear them. She just said
it was
Show
on
up
the
without it.
It was
That's
on the
all I'm
agenda. What was it? Show us what you got mailed out again. How'd you do the agenda that got mailed out?
It was a text message.
Well,
But I remember doing some crazy things around your age. I mean,
well, you know,
but hey, this is I've never had to do that.
Well, you went a different route here. I remember the days of, we were out there courting and trying to find Mrs. Right. You didn't know who was what, and girls make you do things that you would never, ever, ever do for
Boy,
under
isn't that the truth?
Under any other circumstance. Still in marriage, that happens.
they'll make you crazy, Rick.
Oh boy, and so
If you get on a Greyhound bus and ride 8 hours to see a girl,
yeah.
you
For her just to break up with you.
That's
That's good.
You'll do anything.
But twice,
Oh my gracious!
twice,
Hide in the woods.
I got into
Holy moly.
there's Speedy swimming. How about the I had made the mistake one time, and and all guys dread this. All guys dread this. The girl I was dating at the time went out and bought something that had I heart and then her name.
Yeah. One of them little buttons.
And it was to hang in your car.
How sweet, Rick.
Well,
I like that.
Precious.
And the first thing I thought of is how can and I felt like George Costanza. You remember the things he would try to pull off when he should just deal with it.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, with the rest of my life, because at that time you think you'll date him forever, and
Right.
I said, for the rest of my life, I've got to keep that thing hanging there when she's in the car and hide it when the guys are in the car. And then you start thinking, well, how long's that going to go on? I mean, and of course the problem with, and that's why he went this route. It never fails. You've been running around with the guys, playing a little basketball, doing whatever, so you've got it hid.
Yeah.
And then you go by and pick her up, and you forget, and she jumps in. I'm telling you, brother, they have this unbelievable sense. Who would even care about that anymore? And the minute she sat down in that car, where's that thing I gave you? And I was like, oh my gosh,
Someone stole it because it was so valuable.
I said, I think, that thing, I'm getting it fixed. What happened to it?
The heat melted it. The heat, and it curled up. It curled up like a potato chip, and it just broke into a million pieces, and I had to vacuum it up.
I think
it dried up.
It was a horrible accident.
I think my love for you staring at it burned it. I mean, what do you do at that point? So it is.
I love it so much. I loved it to death.
I had a girl break up with me at Six Flags because I wouldn't buy I'm his, I'm her shirt.
Yeah.
Or even just a matching.
And what a contrast we have here. We have little Al Coop, who's wearing his.
You ever wonder Six Flags alone?
Yeah. It can be sad. Rick, we got little Al Coop
you
here.
brought that shirt on was stupid.
Yeah, with his giant button, and realistically, I mean, by the end of the week, he could be dating Miss Alabama. And then we got like Eddie Van Adler, who couldn't get a date with a credit card and an $800. So, I mean, what a contrast.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know though, man. That's
If Adler rounded a corner with his old man
But-
T-shirt on with a button hanging with some tattooed person on it, that'd be awesome.
Let me tell you, Bubba, if she does get Miss Alabama, we won't be able to go on a date by ourselves for a whole year. She'll
Can I
be
ask
staying
you a
with a
question?
family,
What
and
is
I
this-
won't be her boyfriend.
What is this pageant?
Whoa.
Oh no, you got to be
Whoa.
her cousin again.
I guess.
And
What
is
do
this the
people
pageant
think
rules?
that the
Or mama
contestants
rules?
don't like people,
the
guys?
pageant.
let me
They
ask,
need to be totally focused on what they're doing.
Well, what are they doing?
What?
Cutting
44
ribbons and singing and stuff.
I get being focused when you're on stage, but the other rest of the day, what are you so focused on? Your
mean-
hair? What?
You mean to tell me that a quarterback going into the Super Bowl is allowed to date during the week, and they still think he can pull off winning the Super Bowl? But some beauty queen can't have a
Well,
boyfriend because she may not be
Rick, I'm sure.
By the
I'm
way,
sure,
that's ridiculous.
no, I'm sure these rules are in place because of past problems
I'm sure.
and to avoid past problems.
Well, I know.
I got news for them. They all slipping out. They get the chaperone ain't looking.
Here's old Coldwater Greg.
Well, come on, a year, get real. I ain't going on a date with a year with my boyfriend. I'm not going to date him. Come on.
Well, we won't be able to go on a date by ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fun when you take a chaperone with you. Who don't want to do that?
Coop, I'm just.
Mm.
Hey, honey, will you get your mom to hand me a Coke?
Well, Coop,
Come on.
Coop, good luck
Mom,
to
do you
you,
need some popcorn?
and good luck to you.
Wow.
Well, I don't know.
So do you really want her to win?
Yeah, I do.
He does not.
That's a lie.
God.
Because
Did you
he
see? It's
wants
like he
all
was
this-
he was like he was a robot. Did you see?
You know
him?
what? Until
Yes,
you
I
threw
do
that
want her
last
to
part
win.
in, I was for you, but now I'm like, oh my
I mean,
God.
who would want to get back to just normal dating?
I
Nobody.
love her so much. I hope you win.
I hope she wins
So I
50
can't
more
see you
pageants.
for a
I
year.
will miss my practices for whatever I'm told to do.
Rick and Bubba.